Welcome to the show. I am James Swanwick. Today we're talking about 10 fun facts about alcohol. And when I say fun, I don't mean they're actually fun. I mean they're pretty awful for you. I was only drinking 1 or 2 drinks a night and a few more on weekends, but I got so puffy in my face and I put on about 40 pounds over the course of about 18 months or so. And I wasn't sleeping great. My skin looked awful. And then when I dug into the research and I took a look, I realized, well, number 1, alcohol is a poison. Number 2, alcohol toxins take 7 to 10 days to be eliminated from your body. Number 3, alcohol raises the risk of breast cancer in women. Number 4, it lowers the testosterone levels in men. Number 5, it definitely reduces your libido. Number 6, alcohol contributes to weight gain. I should say unwanted weight gain. Number 7, alcohol definitely disrupts your sleep. Number 8, dehydrates your skin. Number 9, alters your brain cells. And number 10, eats away at your money, either in what you're spending on alcohol or what you're not generating because of the consequences of your drinking. So let's go into a little bit more detail here. Alcohol alters your brain cells. Contrary to popular belief, alcohol doesn't kill your brain cells, but it alters neurotransmitter levels. That's the chemical messengers that control your mood, your perception, and your behavior. We're excited when we drink because it depresses our controlling behaviors like judgment, self-monitoring, planning, and reasoning. So this explains why a drunken idea usually doesn't seem so great the morning after. Alcohol increases the inhibitory neurotransmitter GABA, that's GABA, which normally reduces energy levels. So this slows down your thought, your speech, and your movements as you drink more. Alcohol also impairs the cerebellum, which is the control site for your balance and coordination. So often you can become clumsy and fall over. Alcohol also affects your cerebral cortex, which is responsible for thinking, memory, and learning. Here's a twist, though. Alcohol jacks up dopamine levels in your brain's reward center. So you experience the same pleasure as hanging out with friends, going on vacation, getting a big bonus at work, and taking drugs like cocaine and crystal meth. I mean, alcohol is a drug as well. This tricks you into thinking that alcohol makes you feel great. So you keep drinking to get more of that incredible dopamine release, but over time and with more drinking, the dopamine effect diminishes until it's almost non-existent. That's why many excessive drinkers say that drinking eventually stopped working for them. They no longer get the euphoria from drinking. And that's also why drinking is addictive, because you're chasing euphoria, or in many cases, you're just chasing not feeling crappy. But the reason that you're feeling crappy is because you're drinking, and then you're drinking in order to not feel as crappy. And it's this perpetual cycle. When you quit drinking, it takes the brain some time to begin naturally producing dopamine again. And I use that word, or I emphasize the word naturally producing dopamine again. And research suggests that alcohol's effect on dopamine is more significant for men than women, which in part may explain why many men drink more than women on average. Certainly men can take more alcohol because of their size, but interesting that alcohol's effect on dopamine is more significant for men than women. I mentioned before alcohol reduces your libido. So the way it does that is it depresses the nerves in the, I wonder if I'm going to pronounce this right, I hope so, hypothalamus. If any GPs there are listening can correct me, which controls sexual arousal and performance. So although you may get hornier or more excited after a few drinks, sexual performance decreases. In other words, drinking too much gives you sexual dysfunction. Almost 3/4 of men with alcohol dependence have at least one sexual health issue, such as low desire, erectile dysfunction, or premature ejaculation, according to many studies. And people with drinking problems are 7 times more likely to be separated or divorced. Isn't that fascinating? People with drinking problems are 7 times more likely to be separated or divorced. We talked about alcohol dehydrating the skin. Well, with each drink, you deprive the skin, which is your body's largest organ, of vital vitamins and nutrients, I should say. The lost fluid can lead to flakiness and puffiness around the eyes. It dilates your blood vessels, giving you bloodshot eyes. Plus, the excess sugars you're consuming, especially with beer and wine, damage the DNA and collagen in the skin and can lead to rapid aging. Alcohol can make people stressed and anxious. This stress produces the androgen hormones that stimulate acne. Bottom line is this: drinking makes you look weathered. If you go to the Alcohol-Free Lifestyle website, you'll see a photo of me with the Hollywood actress Jennifer Aniston back when I was drinking, and you can see we call it like a before photo. I was puffy in the face, my skin was weathered, I was sucking my gut in as the photo was taken because I was trying to look not as bad as I looked or felt. Don't know what Jennifer Aniston was thinking, but but if you want to see that photo, you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com. Where else is it? Oh, it's also in the guide, the Alcohol Freedom Formula guide that I send to people for free. If you want that, you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. The links are also in the description of this podcast episode. Alcohol weakens your heart. So people who regularly binge drink more than 3 to 4 units for a man or 2 to 3 units for a woman, dramatically increases their risk of stroke. So just to be clear on that, binge drinking for a man is 3 to 4 units, 3 to 4 drinks. For a woman, it's 2 to 3. And if you're regularly drinking that amount, that is dramatically increasing your risk of stroke. Excessive alcohol damages the heart's ability to pump blood, which increases the risk of heart failure. 2 drinks per day can raise your risk of arterial fibrillation by 17%, according to a study in the Journal of American College of Cardiology. This type of irregular heartbeat approximately quadruples your risk of having a stroke and triples your risk of heart failure. These are frightening when you really think about these statistics, aren't they? Anyone go to the gym here? I do. Alcohol weakens your muscles. Hit the gym as hard as you want, but you'll never get bigger muscles if you hit the bar afterward. By bar, I mean, bar serving alcohol. Alcohol tinkers with your hormonal and inflammatory responses to exercise, making it more difficult for your body to repair damaged proteins and build new ones. Alcohol damages your stomach. Just one night of binge drinking increases your gut permeability, according to University of Massachusetts Medical School researchers. If you're feeling like I'm reading off a page, I am. I've got some stats here that I'm glancing at. Harmful toxins and bacteria leak from your digestive system into your bloodstream, prompting an immune system response that can eventually lead to liver disease and other health problems. Alcohol also irritates your stomach, increases acidity, and relaxes the muscle at the end of your esophagus, causing heartburn. Alcohol damages your liver. Liver disease has risen by a staggering 400% since the 1970s. 400%. And those at risk are not just chronic alcohol abusers, but also middle-aged professionals who drink a little too much most nights. That's according to Dr. Debbie Shawcross at King's College Hospital Liver Unit. Wow. Liver disease has risen 400% since the 70s. And even middle-aged professionals who drink a little too much most nights are most at risk. The liver just gets an absolute pounding. I was on a flight recently between Melbourne, Australia and Denpasar in Bali, Indonesia, and I was sitting next to a man and he was saying, "What do you do?" And I said, I help high achievers, business owners and entrepreneurs and top professionals to stop drinking. And he said, I stopped drinking 27 years ago. And I said, "Really? Tell me about it." And he goes, "Well, I saw what it did to my old man." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, my father died at 53. He got liver disease from drinking too much. He didn't seem like an alcoholic to me, but he did drink every night, and he got liver disease. He literally turned yellow in front of my eyes." And I said, "What do you mean?" And he said, "Well, in the last couple of weeks before he died, he just gradually turned yellow until the last few days he was just a yellow man. And then he died." Heartbreaking. And this gentleman who was sitting next to me on the plane said that was the moment that he decided that he was going to stop drinking, and he did. And he said that he goes out a lot to bars and restaurants, and people are always still challenging him on it. Say, "What do you mean you don't drink? Go on, just have one." And he said, "No, I haven't drunk in 27 years. I'm good." And he still goes out and has fun. And so he's He's figured it out. Good for him. And heartbreaking as well to lose a father to liver disease. Wow. Alcohol increases your risk of death. Alcohol is a factor in around 50% of suicides, traffic accidents, sexual assaults, homicides, and drowning. According to the World Health Organization, every 10 seconds someone dies because of alcohol misuse. I mentioned before that alcohol increases women's risk of breast cancer. Studies have found women who drink 2 to 4 drinks a day have a 41 to 69% higher risk of breast cancer. So if you're a woman listening to this and you drink 2 to 4 drinks a day, breast cancer chances are up 40 to 70%. Women also have a 40% higher risk than men of developing high blood pressure from drinking too much. One of our former clients, Roseanne Forte, she's given me permission to use her name, by the way. She joined our program, and her resting heart rate and her blood pressure dropped dramatically in just 90 days of being inside of our Project 90 experience, which is our flagship program, which helps high achievers to stop drinking for at least 90 days. Where can I send you so you can watch her video? If you go to, let me see if I can find it here, but you can see a little video of her sharing her story, and she lost 25 pounds in 90 days as well, which is pretty incredible. But what I found most incredible, besides her visually changing in front of our eyes, because she did lose 25 pounds and she looked amazing, was the fact that that her resting heart rate and her blood pressure dropped so dramatically. So the link to go to if you want to see that is alcoholfreelifestyle.com/testimonials_Roseanne. And Roseanne is Roseann. There's no E on the end of Roseanne. alcoholfreelifestyle.com/testimonials_Roseanne. If you go to that link, you'll see a story of her, and you can see just how much her blood pressure and resting heart rate dropped as a result of 90 days inside of Project 90. What else we got here? Let's have a look. Alcohol makes you fat. Alcohol contains a lot of empty calories. Alcohol has zero nutritional value, despite what the mass media forces you to believe. A large glass of wine can have the same calories as a donut. But think about it, it's not just the alcohol, it's also the soda that you drink with the alcohol. Think of all the empty calories you're consuming from the Coca-Cola or the Sprite or the ginger ale that you have with your vodka. Alcohol causes a drop in your blood sugar, which makes you more likely to want to eat unhealthy, sugary, uncarb-laden foods. Anyone experience that? You're drinking alcohol, and you definitely want to have that dessert at dinner. Or you have the alcohol and you definitely want to eat some chips, or you're still hungry. The body metabolizes alcohol before calories from protein, carbohydrate, and fat. So think about this. When you're drinking alcohol, the body is going to work on breaking down the alcohol first, and it's going to leave all of the food that you got in there till later. And of course, this leads to excess fat being stored that your body would otherwise naturally prioritize burning. Alcohol disrupts your sleep. When you drink alcohol close to bedtime, you can get to sleep quicker, but you go straight into deep sleep, missing out on the vital first stage of REM sleep. Another way of saying that is, while it might be true that drinking alcohol at the end of the day may make you sleepy and seemingly help you to relax and help you to fall asleep, the quality of your sleep will be severely compromised. And you'll wake up feeling tired and lethargic and low energy, despite maybe you even have 7 or 8 hours sleep, and you wake up and you're still tired. Well, it's because your body wasn't going into that deep restorative phase of sleep. You skipped out on the REM sleep. And REM sleep happens about 90 minutes after we fall asleep. And it's that stage of sleep when people, the body goes into its most restorative phase. Alcohol disrupts sleep homeostasis, which causes you to wake up in the middle of the night. You'll wake feeling exhausted after having only 1 or 2 of the normal 6 to 7 cycles of REM sleep. And the more you drink before bed, the more pronounced these effects. Disruptions in REM sleep may cause daytime drowsiness, poor concentration, and rob you of much-needed Z's. Alcohol also damages your bank balance, costs you a lot of money, I should say. I've had clients in Project Noni tell us that they spend over $1,000 a month. That's not surprising or unreasonable. Think about it. It's only $250 a week on alcohol-related activities. That's $1,200 a year, $36,000 over 3 years. Imagine what you could be doing with that money. And the other thing to do with money is There's the opportunity cost. When you're tired and lethargic, you don't do a strategic deal in your business. You don't get another sales partner. You don't hire that person who can 5x your business. You don't get the promotion. You phone in work as, when I say phone in, I mean you're operating at a 6 out of 10, and so you don't get commission and so forth and so forth. I'll read you a text message here from a client of ours, Indo. His name's Indapur. He doesn't mind me sharing his name. He's already been interviewed on the podcast. But he texted me on March the 3rd. I just pulled it up here, and he says, James, I was just reflecting on how the money I spent on Project 90 was the best money I've spent. Not only am I much healthier, my income has increased significantly. I've doubled my income by taking on more work and have been managing very well. That was from Thursday, March the 3rd. And I messaged him back and I said, that's amazing, Indo. Thank you so much for sharing. And then just 2 days ago, I was on a Project 90 call. We have 4 or 5 Zoom calls available each week to members if they want them. And one of our graduating members there, Rick, I won't reveal his last name. He hasn't given me permission to do so, but I'm okay to use his first name. Rick was saying to a couple of the new members who had just joined, he said that he's probably made back 100 times the money that he invested in doing Project 90 just in 90 days. 100 times. He said because he started getting up at 5 in the morning and solving problems in his business and doing a couple more deals which were worth quite a lot of money to him, multiple 6 figures. So I estimate, well, again, I haven't revealed his last name, so it's okay, but I would say he's probably generated almost $1 million in additional revenue or income within 90 days. And even if I'm overstating that, because maybe I misunderstood, but even if I am, at the very least, let's just call it worst case scenario, he's made $100,000. You want to make $100,000 more? Potentially, I shouldn't say, can't guarantee that, but you could potentially generate $100,000 more of business in your business by just being clear for 90 days. It's amazing how many people have so much resistance around investing money into getting coaching around stopping drinking. And the common objection is, I can do this myself. Why would I spend money? And a lot of people say that they feel a lot of shame or embarrassment and guilt that they have to spend money in order to solve this problem. I would just invite you, if that's you, to look at it this way and say, you get to invest money to get a massive return on investment. And I use the word investment because, you can put your money into the stock market. It's taken a bit of a hit recently. You can put your money into crypto. It's taken a hit. You can put your money into all kinds of investments, and you might get a slow increase, but it could fluctuate. It could go up and down. But if you invest in getting yourself clear of alcohol for your remaining years, or at the very least having power over alcohol, by that I mean maybe you drink on occasion, and that's all right, and that works for you, but most of the time you're not drinking, the compound effect of that is absolutely monumental. But people still, and I get it, it's not a criticism, I get it, because I have resistance to investing my money into certain things, and so I understand. But if you keep investing in drinking, you are just compromising so many elements of your life. And people are so, I think, fearful or scared of putting money into a mentor or a coach or a community because they fear they will fail. Well, first of all, it's very rare that we have anyone fail inside of our program. We have a 91% success rate of getting people to at least 90 days alcohol-free. 91%. You know what AA's is? 7%. Secondly, they have a fear around that, they have resistance around having to invest in coaching because of shame and embarrassment, that they feel that they can just do it with willpower and motivation. Oh, this time I'm really going to do it. Well, if you heard all the stats that I've just rolled out, you'll understand that alcohol is a highly addictive substance. It is incredibly challenging to stop consuming this highly addictive substance when you've been doing it for, in many cases, decades. Especially if you're listening to me and you're in your middle age, let's call it late 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s. It's very hard to change those habits without going into a community of like-minded people and with coaching and accountability. And not accountability from your wife or husband who's rooting you on and cheering you on and saying, go on, little Johnny, and go on, little Tina, you can do it. No, because those people are going to give you a pass. And often those times are drinking in front of you, as many podcast listeners have shared with me. And a lot of times those people don't support you. And even if they do, they love you. You're their wife or their husband or their son or their parent, and they are awful accountability partners. But when you're in a group of like-minded people who you can relate to, not people in an AA meeting. I do not relate to people in an AA meeting. I am not going to an AA meeting, and I don't invite any of you to go to an AA meeting. But when you're in a like-minded group of people who are in their 30s, 40s, 50s, and 60s, they own businesses, they're executives, they're top professionals, they're of a certain mindset, they like investing in their growth, but they just can't seem to stop drinking. They've tried and they've tried and they've tried. They're successful in so many areas of their life, but they just can't do this. Investing in being in that group makes change possible. Makes it a reality. It just does. There's so much science on this. The Power of Habit by Charles C. Duhigg talked about it in his New York Times bestselling book. He said, change occurs amongst other like-minded people. So, again, I get it. I get the resistance. And I say, well, look, you're going to have resistance anyway. Choose your resistance. It's going to be hard either way you look at it. Let me tell you this. It's going to be really, really hard for you for the next year and the next decade and the next decades if you don't stop drinking. It just is. It's going to be hard. And is it going to be hard to suck it up and go, all right, I'm going to do this and stop drinking now? Yeah, it's going to be hard as well. But it's only going to take you 90 days, if that. And then you have a lifelong freeway where it's beautiful. So I invite you to run through the rose bushes for 90 days so you can come out the other side, and you might be cut up and bloody, but at the other side it's beautiful. And not many people do that. But the people who do it seem to be flying. Seem to be absolutely flying. People like Indo, whose text I just read out, people like Rick, whose story I just shared, people like Roseanne, who's reversed all of her heart and health concerns. If you want to have a chat with us, an exploratory conversation to see if this is for you, you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/schedule. Have a 15-minute, no obligation introductory chat just to see whether we could help you. It is for, six-figure earners, definitely, business people, successful entrepreneurs, real estate investors, commercial investors, property people, GPs, doctors, entrepreneurs, business owners, retirees, people of certain financial means or certain success in life. That's the kind of folks that I work best with inside of that Project 90 program. Now, I have 95% of my content is free. It's plastered all over the internet. It's here on the podcast. I've got a YouTube channel. If you Google James Swanwick, dozens and dozens and dozens of articles and stories will pop up where you can read through the process that I take Project 90 clients through. You can get that process for free, and you can do it for free. You can, but statistically, probably you won't. Being in a group of like-minded people, being held accountable, having constant check-ins, working with the coach, that's what will resolve this once and for all. There's a link also to book that call down in the details of this podcast. If you haven't got the Alcohol Freedom Formula free guide yet, you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. And I hope this was enlightening and helpful. Some pretty nasty effects there from alcohol, aren't they? Thank you also to you if you've been one of the many people who've left us a review in Apple Podcasts of this very podcast. I thank you. I so appreciate that. All right, I'm going to get going. Nice to talk to you. Nice to be in your ears wherever you are in the world, and I will catch you on the next one. See you later. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. I want to load you up with some free stuff. If you look in the show description, there's a link there to get my guide, which is the Alcohol Freedom Formula Guide. And in that guide, I will walk you through the process and system for successfully reducing or quitting alcohol. It's the same system and process that I give to my clients inside of Project 90. And if you would like to get your hands on that guide, you can click the link in the description part of this episode, or you can go to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/guide. Likewise, if you would like to be considered for Project 90 to join our community and get some accountability, some coaching, and have fun, achieve some goals over at least 90 days with our help and support, then you're invited to schedule a complimentary coaching call with one of my coaches. You can do that by clicking the link in the show description or going to alcoholfreelifestyle.com/schedule. Now, Project 90 is for over 30s only.
And it's really for people who are ready to get long-term power over alcohol. You don't have to quit forever, but you will have to quit for at least 90 days with our support. Just a reminder, 95% of my content is free and plastered all over the internet. If you just Google James Swanwick and the word alcohol, you'll find that. For those of you who want additional support, if you want coaching, fun, accountability, if you realize that you can't do this on your own or you just plain don't want to, then I invite you to schedule that call and we can talk about if Project 90 is for you. If you would like to take some of my supplements, swanvitality.com is the website. I'll put a link in the show notes as well. I have a liver support product called Loving Liver, which I designed and specially formulated to help remove toxins from your liver after years of alcohol consumption. Again, there's a link in the show description. We've also got a green powder there, which turns into a green juice filled with amazing ingredients to support you and give you energy throughout the day. And there's also a magnesium product, which I take every night to help me prepare for sleep and to sleep through the night. So there's a few options there. Lastly, if this episode or the show in general has helped you or supported you in any way, I would so appreciate it if you would write a review. It really does help the show climb the rankings and expose the show to people who don't yet know about us. So if this show has benefited you in any way and you feel compelled to pay it forward, just writing a short little review, hopefully a nice one, will be so appreciated and I will thank you immensely. Lastly, if you'd like to talk to me about anything at all, feel free to send me an email at james@alcoholfreelifestyle.com. I do read and respond to every email. And you can also follow me on Instagram at James Swanwick. Send me a message there. And I look forward to connecting with you soon. Catch you on the next one.